The camera opens on a dark bedroom. It's exactly 4:58 in the morning. The alarm goes off. A firm hand turns off the alarm immediately, without hesitation, without hitting snooze. The person gets out of bed with determination, while the rest of the world is still fast asleep. Have you ever wondered what goes on in the minds of these people? Is there something different in the brain of someone who wakes up at 5 in the morning? The science answer will surprise you. People who wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning have a specific psychological profile, backed by decades of research in chronobiology and neuroscience. And no, it's not what you think. It's not just about discipline or willpower. There's something much deeper happening, something written in your biology, in the structure of your brain, in your genes. Today, we're going to dive into the science behind early risers, uncover the psychological traits that define them, and reveal whether forcing this habit might actually be harming you. Get ready, because everything you believed about waking up early is about to be challenged. Let's start with the basic science that changes everything. There's a concept called chronotype, and it's determined by your genetics. Your chronotype is the internal biological clock that regulates when you naturally feel sleepy and when you naturally wake up. Research led by neuroscientist Matthew Walker at the University of California identified that approximately 40% of the population has a morning chronotype, 40% has an evening chronotype, and 20% is somewhere in between. People with a morning chronotype produce melatonin earlier in the evening and have a cortisol peak earlier in the morning. Their body is literally programmed to wake up early. But here's the crucial point. This isn't a choice. A study published in Nature Communications in 2019 identified more than 350 genetic variants associated with chronotype. 350. This means that the tendency to wake up early or late is, to a large extent, written in your DNA. So before you blame yourself for not being able to wake up at 5 in the morning, understand this. Maybe your body simply wasn't designed for it. And forcing a chronotype that isn't yours can have serious consequences, which we'll explore further ahead. But for those who truly have a natural morning chronotype, there are fascinating psychological traits that science has identified. First, elevated self-control and delayed gratification capacity. A study from the University of Toronto found that morning people consistently score higher on self-control tests. They can resist immediate temptations in favor of bigger future rewards. Why? Because waking up early when the world is quiet requires saying no to the immediate comfort of the pillow. Second trait, achievement orientation, what psychologists call achievement orientation. Research shows that early risers tend to be more proactive, set clearer goals, and take initiative without waiting for perfect circumstances. They don't react to the world, they act upon the world. Third crucial trait, lower neuroticism and greater emotional stability. Studies from Harvard Medical School revealed that natural early risers report lower levels of anxiety and depression. But attention, this only applies to those who have a natural morning chronotype. Forcing yourself to wake up early when you're naturally an evening person has the opposite effect. And that brings us to the most important point of all. Here's the truth that few people talk about. Forcing a chronotype that isn't yours causes chronic stress, and the consequences are devastating. A massive study published in Molecular Psychiatry followed more than 400,000 people and found that evening types forced into morning routines had significantly higher rates of depression, anxiety, and even suicidal ideation. This is no exaggeration. When you wake up at 5 in the morning, but your body is programmed to wake at 8, you're creating a state called social jet lag. Your internal biological clock is constantly in conflict with your external clock. This elevates cortisol levels inappropriately, dysregulates insulin production, increases systemic inflammation, and impairs your cognitive function. Dr. Till Renneberg, chronobiologist at the University of Munich, is emphatic. Forcing an unnatural chronotype is a form of chronic sleep deprivation, and chronic sleep deprivation is associated with obesity, cardiovascular disease, compromised immune system, and accelerated cognitive decline. So if you've been waking up at 5 in the morning and feeling exhausted, irritable, with difficulty concentrating, maybe it's not a lack of discipline. Maybe you're literally fighting against your biology. Now, let's destroy the biggest myth of modern productivity, the idea that successful people wake up early. Yes, Tim Cook wakes up at 3:45 in the morning. Yes, Dwayne Johnson trains at 4 in the morning. But you know who else is extremely successful? Bill Gates, who regularly sleeps until 10 in the morning. Mark Zuckerberg, who describes himself as a night person. Barack Obama, who did his best work between 10 at night and 2 in the morning. Winston Churchill was famous for working from bed until noon. James Joyce wrote his masterpieces at night. There's a giant confirmation bias in productivity culture. We celebrate early risers because they fit into a narrative of discipline and sacrifice. But we ignore equally successful night owls because they don't fit into that romantic narrative. The truth is that success is no set time. What matters is not when you wake up, but rather the alignment between your natural chronotype and your routine. A study from the University of Westminster showed that when people work according to their natural chronotype, productivity increases by up to 20% and job satisfaction skyrockets. 20%. That's huge. So what's the final message here? Know your natural chronotype and honor it. Stop fighting against your biology. If you naturally wake up at 5 in the morning feeling energized, fantastic. Take advantage of that edge. But if you need 3 alarms, 5 cups of coffee, and still drag yourself in the morning, maybe it's time to accept that you're an evening person. And that's not a character flaw. It's just how your body works. There are scientifically validated chronotype tests available online for free. The Munich Chronotype Questionnaire is considered the gold standard. Take it. Discover your real profile. Then, as much as possible, adjust your routine. Negotiate flexible hours at work. Schedule important tasks for your peak hours. If you're an evening person, do your most challenging work in the afternoon or evening. If you're a morning person, attack the difficult tasks early. The modern world is designed for early risers, and that needs to change. But until it does, you can at least stop punishing yourself for something that's not under your control. You're not lazy. You're not undisciplined. You're just human, with a unique biological clock. And when you align your life with that clock, everything changes. Thank you for watching.